Somewhere, a bookmaker is laughing. It is the summer of 2015, and a man walks into a betting shop in England with a strange little idea. He wants to put money on Leicester City to win the Premier League. The bookmaker barely looks up. The odds go on the slip at 5,000 to 1, the kind of number reserved for novelty bets, for jokes, for the things that simply do not happen in this universe. To sit with how absurd that is, consider this. The very same bookmakers were offering shorter odds on Elvis being found alive. Would you have risked a single pound on it? You wouldn't have. Nobody did. Not really. Because to understand why this story breaks your brain, you have to start where it actually started, and it did not start with glory. It started with a team drowning. Rewind 1 year. It is the spring of 2015, and Leicester City are bottom of the entire league. They are 7 points from safety with the season running out, a small club staring straight down the barrel of relegation, and most people have already written them off. And then, something strange happens. Out of nowhere, this doomed team wins 7 of their final 9 games and claws its way clear of the drop. They call it the Great Escape. Almost nobody notices that the escape might have been the warning shot. Then, the manager leaves, and the club hires a man the whole country thinks is a mistake. His name is Claudio Ranieri. He is 63 years old, charming, polite, and recently humiliated. Just months earlier, he had been the manager of Greece, and he had been sacked after losing 1-0 at home to the Faroe Islands, a nation of 50,000 people. The English press groans when Leicester appoint him. He is nicknamed the Tinkerman, a man famous for endlessly changing his teams and winning nothing of real weight. One pundit suggests Leicester have just guaranteed their own relegation. Have you ever been so underestimated that the world had already decided how your story ends? That is the team. Now, meet the players nobody wanted. Up front is Jamie Vardy, and his backstory does not sound like a footballer's at all. A few years before this, Vardy was playing non-league football for tiny Stocksbridge Park Steels and working a day job in a factory, making medical splints to pay his bills. He was rejected, released, overlooked, a man who climbed through the lowest rungs of English football the hard way. Leicester signed him in 2012 from non-league Fleetwood Town for around £1 million, and even that was considered a gamble. He is fast, he is fearless, and he is about to do something no one in Premier League history has ever done. Out wide is Riyad Mahrez, a thin, quiet, almost fragile-looking winger from the French second division. Leicester paid roughly £400,000 for him, a rounding error of a fee, so small that the club joked the scout found him by accident. In midfield is N'Golo Kante, bought from Cannes for around £5.5 million, a player so absurdly energetic that opponents swear they are marking 2 men wearing the same number. Add a goalkeeper, a couple of unwanted defenders, and a manager nobody trusts. That is your fairy tale cast, built almost entirely out of other clubs' leftovers for a price that barely registered against the fortune spent by the teams they were about to humble. And then the season begins, and the joke slowly, terrifyingly, stops being funny. Leicester win on the opening day. Then they win again. The chairman has set a modest target for the year, just 40 points, the number that usually means a club is safe from relegation, and the players are told to chase that and nothing more. But the wins keep coming. By Christmas, this team of 5,000 to 1 outsiders is sitting at the top of the Premier League, above the giants, above the billionaires, above every team that was supposed to bury them. How do you explain that? How does a squad assembled for the price of one superstar's wages lead the richest league on earth? The answer is that everything, all at once, goes right. Vardy catches fire in a way the league has never seen. He scores in match after match after match, and then he keeps going, until he has scored in 11 Premier League games in a row, breaking a record that had stood for over a decade. Mahrez, the £400,000 afterthought, turns into the most dangerous attacker in England, dancing past fullbacks and curling in goals that look like they belong in a different sport. Kante eats the midfield alive. Ranieri, the so-called Tinkerman, does the one thing nobody expected. He stops tinkering. He keeps the same 11 players game after game, and promises them pizza if they keep a clean sheet. He marches the touchline muttering his now famous catchphrase, Dilly ding, Dilly dong, and somehow this strange, gentle man holds the whole impossible thing together. The world starts to watch, and the pressure becomes almost unbearable, because now it is no longer a joke, it is a genuine title race, and every weekend the questions get louder. Surely they will crack. Surely a team like this cannot keep beating teams worth 10 times as much. Week after week, the Giants wait for Leicester to collapse, the way small clubs always collapse. And week after week, Leicester refuse. They lose only 3 matches in the entire season, 3 out of 38. Have you ever watched something impossible slowly turn into something inevitable? By the final weeks, the unthinkable is within touching distance. It comes down to one night, the 2nd of May, 2016. Leicester are not even playing. Their last remaining rival, Tottenham, must win at Chelsea to keep the dream of catching them alive. The Leicester players gather together at Vardy's house to watch it on television. A group of ordinary men sitting in a living room, waiting to find out if they are about to become champions of England. Tottenham race into a 2-goal lead. The dream wobbles, and then Chelsea fight back, clawing it to 2 goals each, in a fixture so violent and frantic it would be remembered as the Battle of the Bridge. The final whistle blows. The score stays level, and in that instant, without kicking a single ball themselves, Leicester City are champions. The room erupts. Grown men collapse into each other. Outside, a whole city pours into the streets because something has happened here that was never supposed to be possible. Leicester City, founded back in 1884, have just won the first top-flight title in their entire history. More than 130 years of waiting ended in one living room on one unforgettable night. Do you understand now why people who do not even like football remember this? Look at the final numbers because they are almost rude. Leicester finished on 81 points, a full 10 points clear of second-placed Arsenal. They were not lucky winners scraping over the line. They were, for one season, simply the best team in England. A team of factory workers and rejects and bargains beating clubs that had spent hundreds of millions trying to do exactly this. They had sealed it with 2 games still to spare. The chase over before the season had even finished. Vardy, the man who made splints in a factory, ended the year a champion. Mahrez, the £400,000 winger, was voted the best player in the entire league. And Ranieri, the man sacked by the Faroe Islands, had built the greatest underdog story sport has ever produced. This is why analysts now say it should never have happened and may never happen again. The money in football has only grown more lopsided since. The Giants have only grown richer. The gap between the rich and the rest has only widened into a canyon. Leicester did not just beat the odds that summer. They beat a system designed, very deliberately, to make sure teams like them never win. And for one season, the system broke. So the next time someone tells you the result is already decided, that the big teams always win, that the little ones never get their moment, remember a factory worker, a bargain bin winger, and a sacked old manager who were given a 5,000 to 1 chance and took it anyway. Somewhere, a bookmaker is not laughing anymore.